You got it.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Baxter.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Insulaco.
Here.
Height.
Present.
Thank you. If everybody stand, Mr. Barber to give the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
We bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening and we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to gather together as a city, and we just pray that you would just bless this assembly. Lord, you would give wisdom to our leaders so that they might make good decisions for the city. And we ask, Lord, always for the safety of our employees who put themselves in danger each day for our benefit, Lord. So we just ask that, Lord, you'd bless us as we look to you for our needs in Jesus' name. All God's people said.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is approved.
On the motion, Ross.
I can get to my seat. Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Baxter.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Insulaco.
Yes.
Height.
Yes.
Okay, so on communication, anybody want to pull the communication for anything? If not, I'll ask for a yes. Accept and file.
Move to accept and file. Second.
On the motion, Ross.
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Baxter.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Insulaco.
Yes.
And Height.
Yes.
For those in the audience tonight, guys in the back, can you play the video for me now, please?
All right. Well, North Little Rock is home to a state high school tennis champ. She's a young lady with championship ties. It's out to Burns Park Tennis Center for the story.
The tennis court can be a lonely place for some, but that's not the case for North Little Rock junior Carolyn Jones.
Honestly, I really like that it's all me out there. I like that I can just worry about myself and how I'm doing and what I can do.
Earlier this month, Carolyn won the state overall singles title.
A couple of years ago, it was like a switch flipped for her, and she all of a sudden started enjoying tennis more and more.
Mom should know she won 4 high school state singles titles, but says none of those compare to watching her daughter win a state championship.
Oh gosh, I can't even say how excited I was about that, to have her win a title out here at her home courts, where she practices. Where I practiced, it was really cool.
Their games couldn't be more different. Mom is a grinder on the court, while Carolyn can end a point with one big swing. And Carolyn is much more composed on the court.
I get compliments from other people about her and how even-keeled she is on the court, and she never really makes too much out of, winning a point or losing a point. And she just really, really stays calm and focused on the court, unlike me.
There's been one constant in Carolyn's game. That's Mom.
She's been right there with me with every tournament I play, every all the tennis I've played. She's been right there.
Hey, well, what a great moment there. Mom won it back in 1990 and sees her daughter win the same tournament.
You could tell she's so proud of her. She kind of sounded like she was going to tear up talking about her.
Yes, and what a great tennis family. And I feel bad because their biggest fan, Granddad, just died. And he missed his granddaughter win that title. And he would have been so proud.
I bet he saw her play a lot of times.
Yes, he did. I remember Woody back in years ago. He was their promoter.
Goodness. All right, talented family.
Yeah.
Caroline, will you come up, please? Mama, grandmothers, coaches, athletic directors, please, y'all come on up, if you don't mind, please, for just a second. Come here, Caroline. Get over here, please. Laura, if you don't mind. It's my pleasure to present to you, and I won't read all the whereases because we go on forever, but Caroline Jones is a junior at the North Rock Center of Excellence and lifetime resident of North Rock. She's the daughter of Paul and Will Jones. Caroline is an outstanding student with a 4.3 grade point. How'd you get 4.3? Carolyn was named the 2024-2025 Arkansas Democrat Gazette Girls Tennis Player of the Year. Carolyn has won the 2024 Arkansas High School 6A Tournament, State Championship Singles title, and has led North Rock High School Girls Tennis Team to a 6A runner-up team title. She was also won the 2024 Arkansas Overall School State Tennis Championships. She is enrolled in the One Tennis Academy at Burns Park Tennis Center. So therefore today, it's my pleasure to present by Terry C. Hartland, Mayor of the City of North Rock, who do hereby proclaim November 12th, 2024, Caroline Jones Day. Congratulations to you, girl. gotta tell y'all, on the very first time when Paula was reading all the titles, and I brought her a letter
Paula was born.
on everything she wore.
She wore.
So the other day, when Caroline won the state tournament, I wrote her a letter. And on the second one, she won the overall, what I sent to you. I said, I wrote a letter that said ditto. Well, everything you guys? Thank you. Again. All right, I think we go to ordinances, if I'm not unfinished business, is that correct?
Unfinished business. Councilmember Insulaco.
Can we have it read once and then we'll hold it?
An ordinance amending the North Little Rock Municipal Code, Chapter 2, Animal Control, declaring an emergency.
So read and hold, is that what you said? Okay, thank you. Consent agenda, please. I'm going to ask anybody who would like to pull anything from R24 and 237 and back to R24, 242. Ms. Robinson.
Can we just pull R 24-242?
Yes, ma'am, we can pull it, and I'll have it read. So anything else by anybody? So we're pulling R24, 242. I'll ask for everybody to voice vote, say aye. All, no, I'm sorry,
One
Ms.
more to
Ross.
pull.
Ms. Ross, I'm sorry.
R 24-238, I think Bailey's here, just kind of explain.
Bailey is, yes. You want to bring, so you want to pull that one too?
Yes, Bailey.
All right, let's pull R24, 238, and R24, 242. I'll ask for yes vote. All in favor on the 27, 237, 239, 240, and 241. All in favor, say aye, please. Aye. No? Thank you. Let's go ahead and read R24, 238. Come on up, Bailey, please.
A resolution amending the home ARP allocation plan and the 2023 annual action plan of the City of North Little Rock in regard to the Home Investment Partnership American Rescue Plan Home ARP Program and Community Development Block Grant CDBG Program.
Thank you. Ms.
I'm Bailey Nolan, Director of Community Development for the City of North Little Rock. So the purpose of this amendment is to update these two plans. When we originally received the Home ARP funding, that's the Home Investments Partnership American Rescue Plan funding, we were operating under the initial guidance that they provided. And so within the context of that, that plan, we used some estimated numbers as far as what our final projects would be. And then we explained in the body of the plan that the projects chosen would be subject to the requests that we received in our request for proposals. So we moved forward with that after that plan was accepted. More recently, HUD has circled back and asked us to be more specific. So this doesn't change any of the projects that we've previously discussed, but rather this is an update to make this plan more detailed, which is beneficial for us as we are reporting on the work that we're doing and the beneficiaries of these funds.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Ross.
One more thing, I know you explained it to me, but can you one more time, just so that we all understand, under the TBRA, the tenant-based, what's the difference in that, and RAD, the rental assistance?
So I'm not an expert on all of the different types of vouchers through the Housing Authority, but I can speak on the tenant-based rental assistance. So that is assistance that is tied to the individual. If I were to apply for tenant-based rental assistance and would be approved, then it would be my responsibility to find housing, and then there's a process that the Housing Authority goes through to ensure that that home is up to code and all of the various standards, that it's a safe and livable property. If I were to move out of that location, I could find yet another unit and go through that same process. So that is funding that is tied to the tenant as an individual rather than tied to the building or the property.
And I know that this is already in the plan, but one more question too, though, and I forgot to ask you today, I'm sorry. But the tenant base, they can take that to any property that, accepts that.
Yes, ma'am.
Can they take that outside of North Little Rock? Can they go to Little Rock with that tenant base from North Little Rock?
Well, these funds are run specifically through the North Little Rock Housing Authority, and so they would be a property here in North Little Rock.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Move to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
There's a second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Thank you, Betty. R242, we're supposed to pull, but go ahead and read it, and I've got somebody, I see Ms. Stevens wants to speak on it out there in the audience, so if you'll go ahead and read it, please.
A resolution authorizing additional expenditures for the construction of a playground with splash pad at Funland Park, authorizing additional payments to RJR Enterprises, Inc., Playcore Wisconsin, Inc., Development Consultants, Inc., and JCon, Inc., in the total amount of $895,778.28, amending the 2024 budget.
And Ms. Stevens, you wanted to comment on it?
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I do have some.
Vicki, you got to identify yourself for me. I know who you are.
Oh, I'm Vicki Stevens. I'm president of the Parks and Recreation Commission, and I do have some commissioners and our director here. I would like for them to stand, please, and be recognized. I appreciate them coming tonight.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Recognized.
We're here because we just want to extend our thanks to the mayor and his staff, and to the city council, and to the voters of North Little Rock for passing the 2023 sales tax capital improvement tax. Back on May the 9th, you decided to levy this tax, and you discussed how you were going to spend the money. And in that ordinance, you stated that $18 million of that money would go to Parks and Recreation for their community centers. The mayor said that the improvements needed to be made to all the city's community recreation centers and proposed building a community center in Ward 4. The chief financial officer, Ember Strange, estimated the continuation of the tax will bring in about $45 million over a 5-year period of time. We were to possibly build an aquatic center. Mayor Hayes said our community centers were built in the late 60s and 70s, and some are barely ADA accessible, and the improvements needed to be made for residents of all ages in every ward. He also referenced several projects that are about to get underway thanks to the previous half-cent sales tax, and we appreciate that. It was passed unanimously, and then on December the 18th of 2023, Mayor Hartwick, Mike Davis, Ember Strange, and Austin Paul and John Eckhart came to our commission meeting, and they gave us the Funland proposal. And that project was supposed to cost $3,175,000. We asked how they were going to come up with the money. $1,037,000 would be proceeds from FEMA. Approximately $500,000 would be insurance, and $1.615 would be the sales tax fund. Ms. Strange made a comment to the commission that no funding will come from the Parks and Recreation Department's budget. The motion passed, and we moved on. And then on December the 27th, you met again and you approved this. Austin Paul, John Eckhart, they did a PowerPoint proposal. You understood how the money was going to be spent on Funland. You approved it, and under new business, you passed a resolution that was number 10717. And all of this has taken place, and we have not received any reports on how our sales tax money is being spent, and we would like to know that. We know for a fact that 1.6 was going to Funland, 1.5 is supposed to be going to the North Little Rock Community Center, but we've not been told anything in addition to that. All we're asking is, would you please, when you present us with the financial, would you please let us know how much of our sales tax money is being spent? Because we're under the impression that since the money's been spent for Funland, we can now possibly use some of this money to bring our tennis courts up to where it needs to be. We need about $600,000 to bring that tennis court up to date. We need about $1 million to replace equipment. We went approximately 4 years without a full-time director, and the directors that we had were doing the best job they could, but they weren't able to replace equipment. We need to do that. Our director has put forth, which, by the way, Mayor, thank you very much for Kenny Stevens. He's working very hard to bring us up to where we need to be. And all we're asking is, would you please allow us to be part of the process? We just want to work hand in hand with you. That's all we want to do. In the packet of information that I gave you are the minutes where you approved the $18 million to Parks and Rec. There's also in there, we are established under state statute, state law, and we have job requirements that we are required to do, and one of them is the budget. And I want to thank the mayor personally for allowing us for the first time in 4 years to participate in our budget process and to be able to present it after we had seen it and not before. So I appreciate that very much, sir. All we want to do is just be a good commission. That's all we want to do. We just need your help in trying to figure out how we can go about spending this $18 million that you committed to us that we could have and be able to do it in the best way. Also in your packet is the budget that we approved in September to be presented to Ember Strange and Mike Davis. We've not seen the budget that we're going to receive this year yet, but we're hoping that it comes close to what it is that we need. And I thank you very much.
Thank you. So where are we? Anybody else? Anybody else? So we're at a part where I can ask for approval on this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, no, we gotta have. I don't have a motion.
Motion, I thought we had a motion.
So moved.
There's a motion. Does I
Second.
get a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Ross.
Okay, so I think one of the things here, that the takeaway from this is that the Parks and Rec Commission is not being involved in projects that are going on in the park. And I just going forward to make sure that they are, because they are over the budget for the Parks and Rec. So I don't know how we do that, how we get back to that. I know that, in the past, I don't think anybody from the city's really, had any say into that. So going forward.
Can I bring Ms. Strange up then, Ms. Robinson?
She mentioned a state statute that they're governed by,
Yeah, there is.
and we're following that state statute. I'd like to know what that statute is, and it's in my packet as to what your duties is, because what the governance is. So I'd like to see that.
Is there any more questions? If not, I'll ask for a vote. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Wait, was Ember going to come speak?
You want her to come up?
Yeah,
All
she
right,
can explain
Ms.
it.
Strange, please.
Because I know I got confused explaining.
There you go.
Because the wording is kind of confusing.
Ms. Strange.
Sure. So on this resolution, when Taylor read it, it sounded like we're amending the budget $895,000. I want to be clear, Section 3 is the amount that the budget is being amended for. That's $603,366.03. So where this amount came from, when we originally made that presentation that Ms. Stevens was talking about, we did say that the estimates from FEMA had not been obligated, but we felt good about those. We had the bathroom by the splash pad was going to be $203,000 and some change. We had FEMA funds that we were trying to get exactly for that $200,000. As of last week, maybe the week before, FEMA has officially denied those. We argued back and forth for weeks and weeks. We went to our insurance company, Municipal League. We did get some more funds on that. FEMA has advised us that we can file an appeal, which we plan to do. We've just been busy getting the budget finalized for you all to get that to you. So that's the $200,000. JCON was not originally involved in this project, and once the playground and splash pad people got out there, our city engineer, our parks director, our chief of staff, everyone was meeting weekly, making sure the project stayed on track, and it had come to our attention that there were some more needs. So JCON being added, not to exceed the $445,000, is roughly where the $600,000 adjustment comes from.
You have more questions?
I do, yeah. So in the contract, even if we have some little project that we're doing, if it's like 10,000 over, engineering brings it back to us. And so you know, and I know in the minutes there, it says that everything would be brought back to us, and so I'm just curious why it wasn't brought back to us or the Parks
So
and
we
Rec
were,
Commission didn't know
we
about
were
it.
working on that. I was working on a budget amendment, when I let the guys in the field know that if they were expanding that scope of JCON, they needed to go to the city attorney's office and get a contract. They did that. That's when the city attorney's office started questioning other things. And it was left in their hands to finish that, and I verified the budget numbers. So months ago, we started this process to get a contract and come back to you all.
So did we have a contract with JCON to begin with to increase their scope, or?
No, that's when we had a contract for a different scope of services, but the engineering department felt that those fell within that, and that was their contract. So once the rest of the things started talking about before any money was paid out, I asked them, I said, what are we doing here? How much money is this? You'll have to go to legal. I have to have a number. We have to have a budget amendment.
Okay, so engineering has a contract with JCON that they can,
Yeah, it was the one that they did for McCain and Park Hill.
for
and
landscaping?
just the
For
various
landscaping.
landscaping
So
and
JCON was just doing
irrigation.
landscaping at the parks then? Is that?
I don't know the extent to those services. That would be a question for engineering.
You want him over here? You want him over here?
No?
Okay.
I'm good.
Any more questions? Mister,
Are we basically approving a change order?
that's all we're doing.
But for 600,000 approximately, not 900,000?
Right, the
I don't
800.
understand why the number says
The 895,000 is what's remaining to be paid to those entities. We have not gone over the original allocation. That's why there's a different number there. The budget amendment is 603,000. Normally, we would just bring you a budget amendment. We did this with the Rose City Health Department, if you all remember. We had a contract, we had additional services that had to be performed. We came to you with about a $200,000 or so budget amendment, but this one was laid out differently, and so.
Okay.
And when we met with legal, I mean, I did acknowledge to Amy that in the original resolution, at the very bottom, it said all contracts should be approved by the city clerk or city attorney. So that was an oversight, but there was never any ill intent on anything.
The amount of oversights that I make per day is, I certainly don't believe that. I don't believe that there was any ill intent in any way, shape, or form. And I love the Funland, what it's looking like. And when we do these things pretty quick after the tornado, there's going to be some, oh, we didn't think about that landscaping thing on this massive $3 million project. So that's not, I don't even have any concerns there. I do have some concerns that Ms. Stevens says that she's very grateful that the Parks Commission got to participate in their budget for the first time in 4 years. And I'm also very grateful for that. So I don't have any issues with the change order. That seems standard procedure in a massive project like this.
And it's not exactly a change order because we were unable to do a contract for JCON because the work was nearly complete by the time that it came to us. And so our office is unable to write a contract for services that have already been performed. So it's not exactly a change order, but it's authorizing payment in the additional amounts.
When did you get the contract, Ms.?
Yeah, I respectfully disagree with that. No payments had been made to JCON, and work was told to stop when we asked for that contract.
Mr.
So,
Taylor?
Do we owe this money?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but
Not
payments
all
had
of
been
it.
made under the landscape.
Mr. Taylor has the floor right now,
contract.
please. if
I'm
you-
sorry.
And I'll come back to you, Mr.
We owe the money?
Yes.
Not for the work that hasn't been done.
No,
yet.
but we owe, how much money do we
Need
owe
the
them?
600,000 to finish the project and get the park open.
for work that's been done already?
No, all of it has not been done
Okay.
yet.
But
we need it.
Is there a contract in place?
No, we never got a contract for JCON. We
But,
still-
so, we're doing $600,000 for,
A bathroom was 200,000 that we did
no,
not.
I mean, for work that has started that needs to be completed.
Yes.
Let's vote.
Ms. Fields was asked,
Oh.
talking, go.
No, I can't even remember what it was.
There's a
okay.
motion on the floor. Do I hear a second? Real quick,
Ross?
Mr. Baxter, hang on, Mr. Baxter.
Sorry. So when these issues come up in a construction project, right, we get who we have on hand at the time as it relates to their field of expertise, i.e. Kenny, Mike Davis as chief of staff, and then our city engineer, right? So they scramble like, Levy rats to the cheese, if you will, right? In an effort to try and address the problem and get it handled once it's brought up by the people that are doing the work, right? So, I mean, I get that because those folks are on staff, full-time. And I do appreciate the job that our Parks Commission's done. However, I just think it's just, it's one of those things that's been around forever. Perhaps there's a little bit of communication, that needs to take place. Because I don't think we can get enough commissioners out there on site when, hey, we need to dig up this pipe and do X, Y, and Z as an example. So anyway, I sometimes you just have to make hay while the sun's shining.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Yes, there was. Ross?
Pass.
Very different.
Hamilton?
Yes, pay people their money.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Pass.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Pass.
Me?
It carries, there were 5.
Motion carried. Thank y'all. Let's see, we're going to convene public hearings. I go to R 24-243 next, if that's not
Would
mistaken.
you like me to read the addresses?
Please, just read the address and read them, then I'll call them one at a time like I usually do, okay, please?
Okay. R 24-243 is 405 College Park Drive. R 24-244, 615 West 23rd Street. R 24-245, 1605 North Chandler Street. R 24-246, 4724 Haywood Street.
Thank you. Read it. Let's call it, R 24-243, call it and read it, and I'll call a public hearing for it.
R 24-243, a resolution certifying the amount of a cleanup lien to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real property located at 615 West 23rd Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Thank you. I need to convene a public hearing for R 24-243, that is 405 College Park Drive. Those wishing to speak for or against, please come to the microphone. Those wishing to speak for or against. I'll adjourn this public hearing. Yes, ma'am. Call it. Read. Motion.
So move.
Motion second. Please, a second.
Second.
There's a second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 24-245, Mayor Hartwick.
244, wouldn't it be?
It is 244.
Yes.
Please read it.
Resolution certifying the amount of a cleanup lien to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real property located at 615 West 23rd Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Thank you. I need to convene a public hearing. Those wishing to speak for or against R 24-244, please come forward. Speak for or against. Seeing none, I'll adjourn this public hearing.
Move.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 24-245, Mayor Hartwick.
Read it, please.
A resolution certifying the amount of a cleanup lien to be filed with Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real property located at 1605 North Chandler Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Again, I need to convene a public hearing on this. I'm convening one. Those wishing to speak for or against R 24-245, please come to the microphone. Seeing none, I'll adjourn this public hearing. There's a motion.
So move.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R24-246, Mayor Hartwick.
Please read.
A resolution certifying the amount of a cleanup lien to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real property located at 4724 Haywood Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas.
And once more, again, I need to convene a public hearing. Those wishing to speak for or against R24-246, please come to the microphone. And seeing none, I will adjourn this one. Please read. So moved.
Second.
There's a second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R24-247, Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution approving and certifying amounts of liens to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real properties in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas as a result of grass cutting expenses and abatement of other nuisances.
This is grass cutting. I need to call a public hearing, so those wishing to speak for or against, please come to the microphone on R24-247. Seeing none, I will adjourn this public hearing, please.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Ordinances, Councilmember Height, O2477.
I want to call it, please.
An ordinance amending Article 2, illegal parking of the North Little Rock Municipal Code, Chapter 9, parking regulations, declaring an emergency. First reading.
I've got an amendment, correct?
We got to move to suspend the
I gotta
readings
suspend.
first.
Okay.
Get it on the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. So motion suspend.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
There's a second.
On the motion to suspend, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
Height?
Yes. Mayor, what I'd like to do,
Okay, go ahead.
I have an amendment, but I want to hold this tonight to the next council meeting for a public hearing on it.
Okay. I mean, so Amy, please.
Well, procedurally,
He's trying to amend, I think Ms.
well,
Fields
if you
has.
want to hold it for a public hearing, we'll have to do a publication for the public hearing. Diane, is there time to do that before the next meeting? It would be the normal council. Just the normal, okay, the normal council notifications. If you're wanting to hold it, Councilmember Height, I would suggest waiting and doing your amendment when you bring it back up. If that's okay with you.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me make everybody very clear. We had an amendment. We're going to hold it. We're going to hold the O2477 for a public hearing that will be at the next council meeting, right, Ms.?
And Ms. Ross has a question.
Ms. Ross, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't see it.
That'll be on the 25th.
Ask him what his amendment's going to be, just so that we'll know when we're looking around about it and in the.
Here, I think that's fine. Charlie, Councilmember Height, you want me to tell him what you sent me, or do you want to do it?
Well, you can do it. You can, since you've got it there.
I got it here. He wants to add 2 additional exceptions. One for vehicles and/or trailers necessary to conduct business operations or activities, and 2 for areas close to churches for any church service, event, or activity. So that would be the amendments that
That's
he
so
would
far the
propose
amendments.
when we do the
Meanwhile, he's
public
going to
hearing.
hold it. And I guess my question is, if any of y'all have anything you'd like to talk to Mr. Hyde about, just give him a call between now and we file him. Is that good enough?
Oh, that would be a FOIA violation.
Well-
We can't do that.
Yeah,
can't.
you're not supposed to discuss.
Maybe my
all
voice will be
discussion
working
in 2
supposed to
weeks.
be
Here we go.
in the public hearing, or in the, in the
We'll wait to
public
get the
meeting.
public hearing then. Okay,
Yeah,
got you.
in the public meeting.
So right now, we're going to go forward. We're holding it.
Okay.
O2478, Councilmember Robinson.
Please call it.
An ordinance granting a conditional use to allow a tire store in a C3 zone for certain real property located at 4500 East Broadway Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, declaring an emergency. First reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
You have a question?
I think she, Ms.
Hang on,
Ross
there's
has
Ms.
one.
Ross.
I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
I have a comment.
I
I'm
didn't see you. I
I got lots
apologize.
of comments tonight, I guess. Okay. So I don't know if it's in the budget, but I have been begging, and I don't know if others have too, about a enforcement officer for planning, and this is the reason, this is the perfect example. We put all these conditions on here, and then we really don't have anyone that can enforce these. So I certainly hope that there's a planning enforcement officer in the budget, because we do all these, and then, you know, they don't have anyone that can go out. You know, they have a enforcement officer / inspector, and there's never time to go out and all these things that we enforce on these businesses. So, anyway, just
So where are we?
using this as an example of all these conditions, but then who's going to enforce it? So,
Y'all got a budget in front of you tonight you're going to be able to take on. We'll discuss
Okay,
as we
let's
go
see it.
forward, as you saw. Okay.
all right.
All right.
On the
where are we?
motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
And Sulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris? And Sulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
O 2479, Councilmember Taylor.
Please call it.
An ordinance granting a conditional use to allow a hotel in a C6 zone for certain real property located at 210 East Broadway Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, declaring an emergency. First reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
On the motion to suspend the readings, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
And Sulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Here's the deal, guys. I had 3 people, Naples, Nemo, and John Pownell. Now that you've heard this, do y'all still need to speak? Deb, all right, have I gone too far? But
No, I mean,
they can speak. We have
they
it.
can speak,
Yeah.
and they
All right,
want
go
to
ahead,
show what
Ken.
they're planning
Identify
on
yourself,
putting in
please.
there.
Okay, John Pownell with Thomas Engineering Company. This item, there was one couple of waivers that we wanted to add to this, is in my letter, but I don't know if it made it to the ordinance. I didn't see it in the ordinance. The first waiver we'd like on this property is, I got to use my arms here to kind of explain this to you, but the first waiver would be for bushes along the street, on Poplar Street. Your ordinance calls for, if this is the property line, it calls for a strip of landscaping with bushes in it, and then the parking extends beyond that. The downtown area, you know, allows us, C6 allows us to build right up to the property line. So we're asking to eliminate that bush, those bushes in those areas, and be able to build a parking lot up to the property line. That gives us enough room to turn around and have another row of parking there too. And the second waiver would be on the south side of that red box up there. That's 2nd Street. And actually, that's just a promenade. That's not an open street. It's just a promenade that goes into the arena. And we just want to, since it's already built, we're asking that to waive the trees requirement in there. There's some tree requirements of every 30 feet on a public street, and we're asking for waivers on that too, since it's already built.
Generally, waivers are done by separate legislation.
Yes.
So if somebody wants to sponsor that, I would recommend that the waivers be done at a different time, because this is just to approve the conditional use with the conditions. And so I think it'd be more appropriate to bring that up at a different time.
Okay.
At a later date, or hold this and bring the waivers up at the same time, because this is just the conditional use. A waiver is a different animal.
Mr. Taylor?
But all we're doing is waiving bushes and trees?
Yes, bushes along
Yeah.
2nd Street there, and trees along 2nd Street and Poplar Street with the bushes. These,
They can do it in lieu of.
Mr. Hamilton?
So in a C6, they can build right up to it.
right, C6, they can build right up to the
C6,
property line.
you're allowed to build up to a certain point, but there's also a requirement in the ordinances that says you have to have bushes, so
Sound like you got a little contradiction.
there's a contradiction there, and I wouldn't find it, I mean, I agree with the city attorney, or not agree, but I think you provide great advice that it should be done in a waiver, but I like the idea of doing the conditional use now. I mean, the waiver makes sense, but doing it in a separate
That's fine.
ordinance
We can do it separate.
makes sense as well, so.
Okay,
Mr. Taylor, okay?
yeah.
Anybody else? Let's go. We have a motion to suspend the rules. I guess we've got a first and a second, and now we're on vote.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Second.
A motion to adopt. Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
O 2480, Councilmember Taylor.
Please call it.
An ordinance granting a special use to allow satellite parking in a C6 zone for certain real property located at 503 Olive Street in the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, declaring an emergency. First reading.
Motion to
Let me go ahead and suspend it. I need to convene a public hearing, as you saw, and then I got two people want to speak on it, Mr. Taylor, so go ahead.
suspend the readings.
Second.
A motion to suspend the readings, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, I'll convene a public hearing for O 2480. Those wishing to speak for or against, please come to the microphone, identify yourself. Those wishing to speak for or against, and I have two names on this list wanting to speak on it. So if you're going to speak, you better do it now. And I have two names here on O 2480.
Mr. Pownell, did you want to speak about that?
No, it's so you know, it's Greg and Nemo.
Did you guys put your name on the list just in case you need to speak?
Yeah, it's out here, so I
Okay.
got it. That's why I know
Okay.
about it. So go ahead. Go ahead, come up. You want to identify yourself? Is there any questions for Mr. Citron?
So I'm Nemo Sudaram with Conway Management, working on the Aloft by Marriott project. We put our name down if there's any questions.
Mr. Hamilton.
How many, by our ordinances, how many parking spots are y'all required to provide?
113.
And with this satellite parking,
We'll have 128,
you'll have 128 more than you're required to?
right, for the hotel use.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just have,
Mr. Mr. Light.
I'm gonna try to ask this question. You've had a discussion with the owner of this property.
Correct.
And a sign recently was erected there, is that correct?
Correct, and the owner of the property is sitting here as well.
Everything's fully aware that
Correct.
everything's above board on that, right? Thank you.
Ms. Ross.
Do they have a written agreement? I know that, in the past, when the filling station, they had to have they would have to do off-site.
Hear the
Do you have
We do have a LOI with the property owner.
Do you have a signed agreement with
Yes.
them and everything?
Yes.
And it's legal? Has it been brought, is it attached? It probably needs to be attached, doesn't it?
I think the LOI was submitted. We're working on the actual lease with the attorneys now.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but I'd like to have it attached for future reference so that,
Mr. Baxter.
Get that invitation.
When you get the lease finalized, if you would please get that to the city clerk's office, and that way we can attach it with the ordinance for reference.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
One more question. How many rooms? How many hotel rooms?
90 rooms.
90 rooms.
90 guest rooms, yes.
Baxter.
And so how long is that contract for with the additional off-site parking?
Help me answer that. Our lease was,
We can't have one for 2 years, so you got to have one.
How
Is
long?
that in the contract, the length of the
yes,
contract?
it is. It's 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 years.
I won't be here.
Sorry, just drawing a blank.
All right, Mr. Napotes, you were wanting to speak on this. You've done it? Okay, where are we now?
I
Motion
need a
to
motion.
adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
There's a second.
Uh,
And wait a
mo-
minute, I'm jumping ahead. It's my apology.
Yeah.
I've got to adjourn this public hearing.
Right.
So right now, anybody else wish to speak for or against this, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll adjourn this public hearing. Now, go forward.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris? Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris? Insulaco?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate it. I have two public comments by Mr. Scott Fowler. Are you in the audience, Scott? Got you coming up, and then after that, I got Ms. Stevens. Are you already spoke, or do you want to speak again? All right. Ms. Fowler.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members.
Point of order. Mr. Fowler, it's Councilmember-elect, is it not?
Oh, Mr. Councilmember-elect, identify yourself,
Thank
please.
you.
He was a
Thank
minister
you.
long before he was a council member elect.
Go ahead.
I'd like to take a moment and publicly thank the voters of Ward 4 for putting their trust in me to represent them. I'd like to speak to the council now. I look forward to learning from and working with you, each of you, as we strive for the best interest of our city. And finally, an acknowledgement of my predecessor's commitment to the citizens of Ward 4 and North Little Rock. I commit to proceed in a manner similar to the standards set for you for the last quarter century. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Stevens?
Got a question.
Wait a minute, go ahead. Mr. Harris? Mr. Harris?
How do we tell them our interesting story as to why you're here? Anyway,
Thank you.
there's a very interesting story, guys.
I have Ron to thank for being here. Long story short.
Appreciate it. Ms. Stevens, 3 minutes.
Again, I'm Vicki Stevens with Parks and Rec, and I've been on this Parks and Rec Commission for 31 years. Otis Dean Smith and I have been involved with Parks and Rec on the commission for 31 years, and we appreciate everything that you do for us, but we do think it's very important that you understand we want to do what the law directs us to do, and we're supposed to be involved in our spending and in our budget, and we would like for the city CEO to be able to participate in allowing us to do that. We need to know how much sales tax money we have, and we need to know how it's being spent so we can continue to operate. This is the first time in the 31 years that I have served that we've had an opportunity to make the improvements that we need to make to our program in order to be able to keep our program on the level that it has always been and how much it's been respected. I thank you for your time and your service, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mayor, yes. You'll see it on the news tomorrow morning. The Arkansas Realtors Association, they're collecting heaters and warm winter items to go over to Asheville and Eastern North Carolina. So if you watch the news or go to the Arkansas Realtors Association website, there's information where you can go on Amazon and click away and send items over to the Asheville and eastern part of North Carolina. They need a lot of help, so.
Anybody else?
The
Go
tree
ahead.
lighting,
Huh?
the tree lighting on
Thank
Thursday?
you. There's tree lighting this Thursday, 6 o'clock at the plaza. I'm always excited about that because I get to meet Andrew and a lot of kids will be there. So please, everybody show up if you can. Meanwhile, also, we celebrate Veterans Day yesterday, but can I ask if people who's been a veteran, please stand up for me, please, in the audience and up here at the council. Thank y'all. Anything else? If not?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second?
Motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Robinson? Yes. Baxter?
Yes.
Harris? Yes. And Salah?